You seem exhausted. It's possible that you don't even know why you feel it. It feels like you have to keep everything in balance, please everyone, avoid arguments, and always be kind, understanding, and polite. Such a weight that you can't see. As a child, you learned that being kind to others will make them kind back to you. You thought that being fair, honest, and humble would be enough for everyone to see. What if I told you that everything here is not true? A comfortable lie that you are taught to keep you behaved, reliable, and under your control. How many times have you kept quiet to avoid trouble? How many times have you erased yourself so that you wouldn't let anyone down? When someone disrespected you or used you, how many times did you smile, say, "It's all good," and hold back your tears? Anger or pride in the name of what you thought was virtue, but all it did was make them forget you. Please pay close attention. The world does not reward good people. The world honors people who are smart. You're here because you could feel this in your skin. It's been hard for you to be the nice guy, the good person, or the friend who understands. You're beginning to understand that the more you try to fit in, the less people value you. They want more and more every time you give in. People value you less the more you give. Now this is where Machiavelli comes in. A lot of people say that Machiavelli was the devil, but he wasn't. He was just the first person to tell the truth about how power works. He knew something that most people don't, that morality that isn't based in truth is a trap, and that being seen as good doesn't mean you are good at what you do, fair or worthy. There will be no filters or masks in this film. We will talk about why you should stop trying to be a good person. You don't have to become mean or cold. You just have to wake up. Getting up from the childish belief that everything is fair and being good is enough to get what you want. We will tell the truth, even if it makes you feel bad. No matter how hard you try, you will always be someone else's slave because you are so nice. Maybe it's time to change if you're sick of being used, forgotten, and thrown away. Learn from Machiavelli what they never taught you and take charge of your life. Are you ready? After that, let's begin. Do you still think that good people are important in the world? Take a look around. Who is looked up to the most? Who are the people in charge? Who gets room, respect, and power? Are they the kindest, most caring, and fairest? Do you think they are the smartest, most confident, and hardest to control? The harsh truth is that the world is not run by kindness, but by what's best for everyone. Machiavelli knew this many years ago. If you want to learn how to be mean, he didn't write The Prince. He wrote it to show you how the game is played. One of the worst things he teaches us is that being good isn't enough. Being good is often the fastest way to get thrown out. You could spend your whole life being loyal, kind, and calm. You can help other people and do your best without expecting anything in return. But the day you're no longer helpful, people will forget about you, replace you, shut you up, and the worst part is that they won't feel any guilt about it. Because the world doesn't judge your worth by how moral you are. It judges you by what you do, how much influence you have, and how much of an effect you make. Have you noticed that the nice guys are always trying to get what they want? They're always trying to defend themselves and show why they deserve it. Individuals who establish limits, say no, and show who they are admired. They can speak up and have room. Why? Because being too kind is seen as a sign of weakness. Because people who don't argue never threaten, and people who don't threaten aren't taken seriously. People see them as a resource, not as a person, as a tool, not as a person. If you don't show power or consequence, no one will think twice about using you, even if it means killing yourself. I know it's tough, but that's just how things are. He said that if a leader had to choose between being liked and feared, they should choose to be feared. What did he mean? Real respect comes from being seen as someone who can do something, someone who can't be stepped on without a response, and someone who can't be replaced in someone else's game. This also goes for you. To keep being nice, people will see you as someone who is easy to get rid of. Not because you're a bad person, but because people who fade away don't get any rewards in this world. It's time to figure out where this badly held need to always be liked comes from. Because there's something more going on behind your kindness, something that might have been holding you back for years. That is exactly what we are going to look into now. What makes people try so hard to please? We'll look into that in the next section, and you'll see why being nice is often just a cover for fear. You weren't born wanting to please everyone. You learned to do that, and even worse, you were trained to do it. Because you were young, you learned that to fit in you had to give up some of who you were. In order to be liked, people forced smiles, pushed down their wants, and kept their views quiet. Little by little, you changed to fit what other people thought you should be like. From, don't do that, it's ugly, to be nice, to don't respond, to you're so polite. What no one told you, though, is that being nice all the time is an emotional trap, a mental prison made of poisoned compliments and punishments that look like schooling. It was taught to you that people would love you if you made them happy and not if you were angry, set limits, or were selfish. To stay alive, you did what any mind would do. You changed. The issue is that this change turned into giving up. You can't say no anymore without feeling bad about it. You worry about other people's happiness even though it makes you feel bad inside. You're mad, but you don't tell anyone. You're let down, but you forgive too fast. You work hard to keep up the image that other people expect of you, not because that's who you are, but because that's what you learned made you feel safe. Here's the truth, though. This is not kindness. It's fear. Being afraid of being turned down, not liked, or seen as a bad person. Also, being afraid of being who you really are, with wants, anger, limits, and a voice. Because of your fear, you've become someone who hurts themselves and hides behind behaviors that are socially acceptable but hurtful to your feelings. The most sad part? You're not even aware that you're doing this. Fear of being confronted is what you call it. It's really fear of being left alone that you call understanding. It's really fear of not being enough that you call kindness. In reality, your kindness is just a mask, an unconscious way for you to avoid the pain of being turned down. It's expensive, though, because this mask makes you hide who you really are, your power, and your pride. This mask will stay on your skin if you don't take it off. It will become what you are. When you look in the mirror, you'll no longer recognize yourself. But there is a way to go back. And Machiavelli is the person we need to learn from because he knew more than anyone else about how powerful image, perception, and strategy can be. Let's get right to the point. What can the prince teach us about how to stop letting our need to look good hold us back and start being valued for who we are? If you're trying to be a good person so that other people will see how moral, honest, and ethical you are, stop now. He said more than 500 years ago, "This path is beautiful but dangerous." People who are successful win in the real world, not people who are good. To be good at the game of life, you need a plan. It's important to know that people don't act because they think you're good. They act because they are interested, scared, or powerful. You can feel what Machiavelli means when he says, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few feel what you really are." It busts the myth that being honest, clean, and true is enough to get respect. The truth is harsh. People don't see what you're trying to do. They react to how you look, how you make an impression, and how you affect them. No matter how fair you are, people will treat you like you're weak if you look weak. No matter how kind you are, if you don't earn respect, people will not pay attention to you. That's why the prince, that would be you, anyone who wants to take charge of their own life, can't be foolish. He needs to act morally when it suits him and strategically when it's time. Machiavelli says that the prince should know how to make good use of the animal's nature. He needs to be a fox to spot traps and a lion to scare wolves. This is a metaphor that is so very true. The fox is smart and can move quietly. It can see dangers that are hidden. On the other hand, the lion brings fear, power, and presence. He doesn't say to be either one or the other. He says to be both. You should be smart enough to know who is trying to trick you, and strong enough to make them think twice before they do it. Would you like to be thought of? Then you should know that the virtue that Machiavelli calls for is different from the virtue that moralists teach. To have virtue, you need to be brave, smart, audacious, and able to control yourself. It means being cold when you need to be. It's to know that sometimes acting mean is the only way to keep things in order, not because you want to be mean, but because you're smart. If someone wants to always act like a nice person, they will fail because there are so many bad people in the world. You know this because you have been that person. In every case, you've tried to be good. And what did you get? Abuse, silence, and unfairness. Not everyone plays fairly. Every time you play like they do, you will lose. You don't have to give up your beliefs. You just have to stop using them as chains. It means you have to start using your power and think about how other people see and use your goodness. Machiavelli wasn't pessimistic. He was just plain honest. He saw people as they really were, without any idealism or veil. He wrote The Prince to show people how to stay alive in a world where looks are everything, and weakness that looks like virtue is a death sentence. You might be thinking, is there a middle ground? How can I stop being naive without turning into a cold or evil person? In the next section, we'll bust the myth that you can only be nice or mean. The middle road starts with having the courage to stop lying to yourself. Think that to be good, you have to be submissive. This is a fatal mistake that kills many lives. That to be a good person, you have to take everything in without saying a word, forgive everything without asking why, and live your life ignoring what bothers you to keep the peace. This isn't kindness, it's ignorance. It's being afraid that looks like being brave. You will keep being the emotional cushion of the world if you don't understand this difference. Being truly kind doesn't mean giving up everything. It needs knowledge, clarity, and a choice. Being good doesn't mean being a happy-go-lucky fool who is always there for others, always smiling, and always giving up things for them when they wouldn't do anything for you. This is giving up on yourself. It's emotional dependence dressed up as morals. With naivety, you think that everyone will treat you with the same kindness that you have. Naivety thinks that the world is fair, and that people will see how important you are if you are vital. Naivety lives in frustration because it wants to be thanked, reciprocated, and cared for. It is unhappy because it sees in other people a nobleness that doesn't exist. Kindness that is real is different. It's strong. It understands what no means. It knows how to leave. It knows that people don't always deserve your best and that giving your best to people who don't deserve it is wasteful, not kind. You can be fair, caring, and whole, and people will still fear and respect you. You just need to be someone who gets attention and knows what they will and will not accept. Even though Machiavelli seems mean to us now, he really didn't hate virtue. He hated ignorance. Being kind without being strong is like being fresh meat in the middle of the wild, he knew. Now you need to ask yourself, does your kindness keep you safe or let people see you? Is it making you stronger or breaking you down? If your idea of being good is to live by taking crumbs, swallowing injustices, and blaming yourself for getting angry, then you are not being good, you are being controlled. There is a way to stop this. At some point, you don't have to give up who you are or kneel in front of everyone. This is the balance point. This is where you can act with courage, clarity, and emotional intelligence. In the next part, we'll look into this road. We'll talk about how to stop being nice without turning into a jerk and how to finally take charge of your life without failing yourself. This is where the change starts if you want to get your self-respect back. That's when a lot of people make a bad choice. They think they have to stop being nice by becoming cold, insensitive, and even mean. This is the well-known return effect. You feel like the only way out after years of being taken advantage of is to change into someone tough, uncaring, and cunning. But this is yet another trap. You are not strengthening yourself when you give up your core. Instead, you are protecting yourself by denying who you are. That's not freedom. It's pain that looks like power. When you stop doing things for other people and start doing things for yourself, you'll truly be free. Being real is more important than being good or bad. When you look in the mirror, you know that you can be kind, but you won't be passive again. You can be sympathetic, but you won't be tolerant again. You can offer your hand, but you won't beg to be seen. You don't have to change who you are to stop being nice. First, know that what you say counts. Because of how you were raised, you think that complaining, putting limits, or disagreeing is selfish. That's not true, though. Being selfish means expecting other people to talk over you while you stay quiet. I do not accept this, and speaking out are all signs of honor, a sense of self-respect. Second, get better at saying no. One of the freeing things you can do is say no. It doesn't need to be rude or loud. A strong, calm no that won't be changed has more power than 1,000 reasons why because it says what you really want to say. You have limits. It is accepted when someone has limits, but it is used against people who don't. Third, pay attention to who is annoyed by your change. These people show how hot it is. When you start to stand up for yourself, someone will say that you are different, weird, or selfish. This is because they found your acceptance useful. That feels bad because when you change, you break the unspoken deal that let them use you. Don't be fooled, though. This is a sign of growth. Fourth, stop trying to make everyone understand you. Yes, some people will not understand your change, and that's fine. You don't have to be true to the picture they made of you. Stay true to yourself, find peace, and take care of your mental health. Fifth, give up wanting to be liked and commit to being yourself instead. Some people may not like you when you act honestly, but the people who really count will respect you for it. You start to respect yourself, which is a respect that no one can take away. He didn't write to teach you how to be mean. He wrote to teach you how to stop being stupid. Being nice isn't enough to get respect in this world. That's the height of ignorance. It's not. Giving up the part of pleaser takes courage. It takes strength to be yourself without asking other people to let you. But this trip isn't over yet. Since now is the important moment, you have to decide whether to keep hurting yourself or finally take charge of your life. Today will end with a straight, harsh, and necessary call for you to realize that your need to be good might be costing you everything and that you need to make a choice. Do you want to be loved or do you want to be free? It's time for me to tell you the truth. How long are you going to act like everything is fine? How long are you going to give up your time, energy, and pride to keep up a look that isn't even yours, but what other people expect from you? Do you believe this is good? The fact that it's noble? It's like being locked up in a mental or emotional prison, where people praise you for being safe, predictable, and not a danger. Your cell is decorated with fake compliments. But I'm going to tell you something that maybe no one else has. No one is going to free you from this. No one is going to come along, thank you for everything you've done, treat you with respect, and tell you, now you can rest. Because as long as you're willing to be used, someone will always be willing to use you. This isn't evil, it's the truth, and the truth doesn't change for good purposes. People have pushed the idea of a calm, patient, understanding, always available, and yes person onto you. You can keep being that person, but get ready for a future full of anger, rage, and being invisible. You can also wake up. You can choose right now that being kind will no longer be a chain around your neck, that you will act with purpose, presence, and strength, that you will decide when and to whom to be kind, that you won't give what you don't get anymore, that you will no longer live your life trying to get other people's approval like a dog trying to get attention. The simple truth is that people who respect themselves are respected by everyone else. You won't be free until you stop asking for permission to be. When was the last time you didn't feel bad about saying no? When was the last time you made time for yourself? When was the last time you did something for yourself without caring what other people thought? Post your answer below. I want to know when you noticed that being nice was making you worse. This talk needs to go on because a lot of people are stuck in the same prison. You might be the one to wake someone up. And you should watch the next video if this one made you think about how you live, act, and see yourself. It's important, trust me. The trip is just getting started.